Have you ever wanted to make your own custom clock? Well, I think it's about time I showed you how to make a full color clock with a beautiful face like this. Hello everybody, Jennifer Maker here. It's a beautiful day to learn how to decorate a clock. Why settle for the traditional black and white wall clock or some store-bought clock when you can have playful and colorful designs that match your decor? In this video, I'll show you how to prepare and transfer a sublimation ink design on your own blank to create exactly what you want. Now, I know that it seems like these days everything has a digital screen, and clocks are no exception. The clocks on our kitchen appliances, our bedside alarm clocks, and even our watches are digital. And while these are handy, no doubt, they're also a bit simple. They're just numbers on a plain background. Well, I wanted a way to make telling time seem more special, so I thought, why not make a super cute sublimation clock to go on the wall? Plus, clock faces are way overlooked too often. I think they're the perfect canvas for housing great art. And since sublimation is one of my favorite ways to add colorful designs to projects, I want to share how easy these are to make. Now, many classic wall clocks have wood faces, but since you can't sublimate on plain wood, I found these handy-dandy clock blanks for you. The face has a white polymer-based surface ready to absorb ink during the sublimation process, making sure your final result is bright, vibrant, and long-lasting. You can use any of the designs that I've included in my free files to make your own clock. We'll use Google Docs to prepare the PNG files. If you have a free Google account already, like a Gmail address, you are all set to go. Or if you want to learn how to use a custom photo for your clock, like I did with my cat Butterscotch, stick around for details on how to do that. Now, I'll print the designs using my Epson EcoTank printer that I converted for sublimation using compatible ink and a sub paper. And since the designs are for blanks that are only 8 inches by 8 inches, they'll fit perfectly onto a single sheet of paper. If you decide to use a different blank from the one I recommend, don't worry, I'll show you how to measure it to make sure your design is sized correctly. Now, there are different ways to sublimate flat surfaces, but I'll use my Cricut Easy Press since it's large enough to cover my entire blank in one press. If you can sublimate without moving your press, you're less likely to get ghosting, smudged results, or inconsistent colors. And remember, always craft safely. So have a fan running and good ventilation whenever you're sublimating. Also, this clock blank stays warm for a while after heating, so have your heat-resistant gloves ready from preheating to cooling. You'll also want a safe spot for your blank to cool afterwards, like a pressing mat. I have the full list of tools and materials that you need below this video, as well as over at jennifermaker.com/626. And if you're new to sublimation and want to go deeper into some of the basics before you start, check out my Sublimation for Beginners guide at jennifermaker.com/sublimation for beginners. It is a great way to get started confidently. And of course, a clock needs to tell time. These sublimation clock blanks come with hands and a timing mechanism, which I'll show you how to assemble after we're done sublimating. The mechanism runs on a AA battery and even has a spot to hang the clock in the back. So, are you ready to decorate your very own clock with a cute and whimsical face? Let me show you where to find my free files, and then we'll get started. Step 1, get my free clock designs. First, download my clock designs at jennifermaker.com/626. You can either download right from that link by saving the project, or download from my entire free design collection. To find it, look for Libraries in the red bar at the top, and then click either Get a Password if you don't yet have one, or click Enter the library. Search the page for design number 626 and click the link to download the designs. Sublimation printing requires high-quality design files for the best results, so I am using high-resolution PNGs for this project. We'll prepare them in Google Docs, which is a free online tool. In the PNG folder, there are numbered and blank versions of 4 sublimation designs: a relaxing beach scene, a sunflower standing in a field, a sunflower surrounded by colorful leaves, and a couple of happy gnomes hanging out on a tree stump. I'll show you how to prepare and sublimate a clock face that uses the beach design with numbers. I'll also show you how to assemble the clock mechanism so you have a functioning timepiece when you're all done. If you're not sure how to download zip files, go to jennifermaker.com/svgs because the steps are similar for PNG files and Google Docs. Step 2. Prepare and print your clock face design. Measure your clock blank. Your clock size might be different even if you use the same blank that I recommended in my materials list, so always be sure to measure. Lay your clock blank flat on your work surface. With a ruler, measure the width of your clock from left edge to right edge. Make sure your ruler is at the widest part of the circle and that it goes through the center of your blank. Record your width measurement on a piece of paper. Mine measures 7.75 inches wide, which is smaller than the listed dimensions. That's why it is always so important to measure. Now measure your blank from top to bottom to find the height. It should match the width of your perfect circle, but it's always good to check. Mine does match, so that's good. If yours is a little off, use the larger of the two measurements. Prepare your design in Google Docs. To use my designs, open Google Docs in the Google Chrome web browser on your computer. You will need a free Google account to use the free Google Docs software. If you don't have one yet, visit jennifermaker.com/Google Docs for help setting one up. You can also download and open the Google Docs app, but you won't be able to install or access any printer profiles from a mobile device. And you'll also have limited access to features, so I generally don't recommend printing from a mobile device. Click Blank Document at the top left to open a new document. Go to the File menu and select Page Setup. Change the orientation to landscape, and then change your margins to 0 in each box. Then make sure the paper size matches your Sublimation paper size. I'm using 8.5 by 11 inch or letter size paper, which is just big enough for my design. Click OK to apply the settings. Now click on the Insert menu at the top and select Image, and then select Upload from Computer. Select the Sublimation design you want to use. You'll most likely find it in your Downloads folder. I'll demonstrate with a numbered beach design, and then click Open to continue. Click the area that says Untitled Document at the top and type a name for the file. The design might come in a different size, but if it does, don't worry. Just click on Image Options at the top of the canvas. You can also open the menu by going to Format, Image, and then Image Options. Now select Size and Rotation. Keep the Lock Aspect Ratio box checked to maintain the design's proportions. Then change the width field to be slightly larger than the blank's width that you measured. This ensures that your blank will have full coverage and the design will be easier to align. Since my blank is 7.75 inches, I'll make my design 8 inches wide. The height field will automatically adjust proportionately. Click the image and select the Wrap text icon from the menu that appears below it. This setting lets you move the design anywhere on the page. Click and drag the image to the center of your page, as that ensures it won't get cut off at the edges. You're now ready to print. Now, printer settings vary, so I have directions for common sublimation printers over at jennifermaker.com/sublimation print method. I'll show you the process for my Epson EcoTank 2800. Go to the File menu and choose Print. Select your sublimation printer under Destination, and then click the arrow beside More Settings and select Print using System dialog. Now your print menu will probably look different than mine. Just make sure that your sublimation printer is selected under Printer. Also check that the paper size matches your sublimation paper size. Mine is set to letter size. Then under Layout, click Flip Horizontally to mirror your image, always very important in sublimation projects. Basically, most sublimation projects need to be mirrored, so don't forget to do this. And choose the print settings or media quality area and change your media type to an option similar to photo matte paper, and your print quality should be best or highest quality. Don't use high speed or the result will not have the right amount of ink. Make sure your sublimation paper is loaded correctly in your printer. You can check the paper's packaging for information on how to load it if you're not sure. And then finally, click Print on your computer to send your design to your printer. Allow the print to dry before handling it, as the ink can smear. The printed design will appear lighter before pressing, so if it looks lighter than you're expecting, don't worry. This is totally normal. Your project is now ready to press. Step 3. Sublimate and assemble your clock. As with all sublimation projects, turn on a fan and open a window to improve your ventilation before beginning. For my clock blank, I follow the manufacturer's instructions with great success. If you're using a different blank than I am, or you're having trouble with the included settings, my Sublimation cookbook has pressing details for many other flat blanks. For example, a coated wood clock face like this is really pretty similar to the wooden sign recipe in my cookbook. It's really helpful in determining the best process for a new project if you're ever unsure of where to start. You can find the details on the cookbook at jennifermaker.com/sublimation cookbook. Now I'm going to use a Cricut Easy Press, but any flat press that is larger than the blank itself and gets hot enough should work just fine. If you're going to use a Cricut Easy Press like me, set your Easy Press to 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 191 degrees Celsius and set the timer for 50 seconds. That's 50. Place your pressing pad on your work surface and place a piece of white cardstock onto your mat to protect it from any ink that may escape during the sublimation process. Your cardstock should be clean and free of any ink or other marks that could transfer to your blank during the sublimation process. Use a lint-free cloth or a coffee filter with some rubbing alcohol to clean the edges of the clock blank, and make sure your hands are clean too. My blank also has a protective film on the sublimation side, so check to see if yours does as well, and if it does, be sure to peel it off before you press. You can use tweezers or a weeding tool to carefully lift the film if it's really stuck. Use a clean, lint-free cloth or a coffee filter with some rubbing alcohol to clean the clock face for a better transfer. Now put the clock blank face up on your protected pressing pad. Place a fresh piece of white uncoated butcher paper on your clock blank to completely cover it. Cover the entire clock face with the Easy Press and preheat it for 50 seconds to remove any moisture from the wood. The press might want to slip, so hold it in place, but you don't need to add extra pressure. Now, this is a longer preheat time than usual because I really found that these blanks held a lot of moisture, which can cause inconsistent sublimation. The longer preheat time helps avoid that, so don't skip this step. When the time is up, lift the Easy Press straight up. Always remember to place your press back in the base after use because it's hot and you don't want to burn yourself. Now very carefully lift away the butcher paper. The blank retains a lot of heat from the press, so be cautious here. Let it cool for at least 2 minutes to avoid starting the sublimation process while you're lining up your design. Once the clock is cooled to the touch, lay your print face up on your work surface so the top of the design is oriented correctly. Check the clock face one last time for any lint or residue. Wipe it clean if needed. Now flip your blank face down on your print. Leave an even amount of color around the blank so you know it's centered and there won't be any white at the edges. This is a little easier on a hard work surface instead of the pressing pad. My 8 by 8 inch print left about 1/4 of an inch of ink around the blank. Now take a piece of heat-resistant tape and fold one end onto itself, creating a small tab. It will make the tape easier to remove later. Think of the blank like a compass with north at the top. Place the tape's tabbed end at north so it sticks to the wood and continues over the edge. Press the tape over the blank's edge so it maintains contact with the wood all the way down to the print. Press the excess tape onto the back of the print. The tape should be snug and the blank should be secured in place. Think of it like a stair step that goes straight across, then down, then straight again. Now make another tabbed piece of tape and add it to the blank the same way, but this time put it in the south position. Repeat these steps to secure the east and west sides of the clock blank, as well as the intermediate positions between them. Now don't move the blank around on the paper as you add the tape, because any air gaps or wrinkles can cause discoloration in the final result. I used 8 pieces of tape to really keep everything in place. Now hold everything in place and gently flip the project onto your protected pressing mat so the print is on top. Place fresh butcher paper on top of the print and make sure the temperature of your Easy Press is at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 191 degrees Celsius. Set the timer for 80 seconds this time. That's 80 seconds. Lift the Easy Press off the base and cover the entire area of your clock face with the Easy Press and heat the blank with heavy pressure for 80 seconds. Now that's a long sublimation time, but try to keep even pressure on both sides of the press handles for the most consistent transfer. When the time is up, lift the Easy Press straight up to avoid any ghosting or blurring. Now remove the butcher paper and then let your clock cool completely to finish the sublimation process. If you need to move the clock before it cools, make sure to put on your heat-resistant gloves when you're touching it. Once the blank is cool to the touch, turn your project over and remove the heat-resistant tape using the folded tabs. It's much easier than trying to remove thin tape. Now carefully remove the print from the clock face to reveal the awesome result. Add the clock mechanism. Hold your finished clock with a sublimated surface face up. Find the middle of number 12 and add a pencil line to the clock's thin edge, marking the top center. Then extend the pencil mark 1 inch down the back of the clock, keeping it as straight as possible. Grab the clock mechanism and find the rod that sticks straight out of one side. Insert the rod through the clock's middle hole from the back. Place the threaded brass collar flat side up onto the rod and screw it most of the way down using your fingers. On the back, find the mechanism's triangular hanging piece. Rotate the mechanism until its tip is lined up with your pencil mark. Secure the brass collar in place against the sublimated clock face. You want a snug fit to ensure the clock face doesn't move around. Next, grab the 3 hands. The smaller black one is for the hours, and the larger black one is for the minutes. The long red hand is for the seconds. Slide the small hours hand onto the center rod, flat side up. It should fit snugly with part of the brass collar still exposed. Then slide the larger minutes hand on, flat side up, until it's against the hours hand. See how the rod is hollow? Take the seconds hand and insert its post into the rod. Gently press the hand in place so it goes all the way in, securing all 3 hands so you can adjust them safely. Next, use the dial on the mechanism to set your time. The small grooves make it easy to turn the dial clockwise or counterclockwise as needed. Or, one at a time, move each hand clockwise to the current time. Turn them gently or the hands might pop out of place. If you can set the time at noon or midnight, all of your hands will be lined up. Then insert your AA battery into the battery compartment on the back of the clock mechanism. There isn't a panel to cover the battery, but it'll stay in place, don't worry. And your clock should start ticking right away. Step 4, show it off. You have now successfully sublimated a clock with a full art face. Isn't this just beautiful? I love how professional these sublimation clocks look. Seriously, it's like something that we could get in a store, but it's not. We made it and we can make it any way we want to. Step 5, customize it. If you love this clock but wish you could make one with your own image or different style numbers, I can totally show you how to do this in Canva. You can get my template and learn how to customize your clock face through a special program I have called Advance with Jennifer Maker over at jennifermaker.com/advance. The advanced program helps you advance your crafting skills by teaching you how to make these popular designs unique and special through tutorials and templates, as well as give you advanced access to my vast library of designs, projects, and resources. Also, we have monthly challenges to help inspire and motivate you to actually make things. Now, I may or may not be accepting new members into the advanced program at the time you see this, but if you're interested, go to jennifermaker.com/advance to learn more and see how it all works. And now you know how to sublimate a clock with a colorful face design. I love the results, and I know your friends and family will too. You can really display these clocks anywhere you want. Just put a nail in the wall and hang the clock using the loop on the mechanism. I think they could pull almost any room together. Plus, they're really easy to maintain. If the face gets dirty, you can just wipe it down with a soft cloth. The hands move easily with just a little bit of pressure from your finger, so if you need to adjust for daylight savings time, you can do that in a cinch. Also, replacing a AA battery is so simple. Just remove the old one and pop in a new one. The clock will start ticking again right away. Oh, and speaking of the ticking, these are super quiet, so you don't have to worry about them disturbing you. If you want to learn how to add a photo of your own or customize the numbers on your clock face, remember to visit jennifermaker.com/advance for more information on that. I also have a Facebook group just for sublimation, which is a great way to see all the fun you can have with it and all the amazing things you can make. Whether you're new to sublimation or not, come join us at jennifermaker.com/sublimation group. I'd love to have you come ask questions, share ideas, and get inspired. And that's it for today. Until next time, this is Jennifer Maker reminding you to craft a life you love.